People, deluded, I'm back again. Now, we saw, listen, it was Fulham. With all due respect, they're a Premier League team, I would love to be playing for Fulham in the Premier League. They're a good team because they got promoted from the Championship. With all due respect, I mean no offence when I say Arsenal's victory over Fulham is fantastic, clean sheet, main men are scoring, other players like El Nene are showing if they can have a role. It's a good collective team performance and it's a good way to start the season. The optimism is still there of Arsenal fans. Whether it gets fizzled out is another thing. But with all due respect, it's Fulham. If we did this against Man City and things where, we beat them at Wembley and stuff, then fair play, gas it up. But we have to rein it in a bit and apply a bit of context with all due respect. And away if it was Fulham or if we did play another top rival, and them things there, it's only one game. There's 37 games, We need to be very careful with not doing this flavour of the month, flavour of the week, sensationalise people. Because right now, look at El Nene. Everybody's loving him. He's been here for a couple of years, He's been getting not necessarily nice comments. You get it. Saka's loved. Some people say we're consistent, but he's loved, but he's not. 1 minute Maitland-Niles is loved, then he's not. Joe Willock's had the same. Ceballos was praised to high heavens against Burnley or Newcastle last year. Then he was called a fraud, and now everyone's back to gassing him. Do you get it? Holding now the same. So there's a lot of flavour of the months. As I said, it's a long season. Other people, we're going to have good games. We're going to have bad games collectively and individually. People are going to make clangers and mistakes. Look at Van Dijk, by a long distance, best centre-half in the league. Now, he went out and scored, but he made a mistake. He will make mistakes. Everyone does. Do you get it? So within reason, I don't want to gas too much and talk too much because, people are praising everyone did today against West Ham at 8 o'clock on Saturday. They might be saying different things. There's 37 games left in the league, however much in the other competitions. But in relation to Willan, like I said, it's only Fulham. Within reason, Willan, there will be times he frustrates. But what I like about Willan, and I'm not saying he's world class or nothing, it wasn't, and I stand by it, it is an underwhelming signing, not through Willian's fault of his own. Just because when you're seeing what other teams are doing, when you know what Arsenal need, when you look at Willian's age, like I said, for 2-3 years you can use him, but longevity purposes, it don't really scream, the signing didn't really scream a team that wants to get back to doing serious stuff. You signed Willan in isolation. I personally didn't mind the signing of Willan because while it might be underwhelming just based on how the club are, you know what you're going to get. You're not going to get crazy numbers of goals and assists, but you're going to get someone that can provide a threat from the flanks and drifting, someone that can get goals and assists, someone that is Premier League proven, as much as I hate that, someone that is experienced. As much as we need Saka and all these man there, we need players for now, we need players for today. Aubameyang's a man for now. He's not going to be here 10 years from now well, even Saka will be 29. Do you get the point? He's not going to be here for the significant future. Willan as well. They need to help us. I like Willan. I think he's complemented the side well. Again, it's only been one game, but you can see already, For me, I want to see Willan in the 10 role. I want to see Willan in the 10 role, but I don't mind him playing right wing. He complements the side well. He is a threat. You obviously saw him technically have a hand in 2 of the goals at the weekend as well. And that's what you want from Willan. You want, if Pepe can get respectable numbers and build on last year, do I need to talk about Aubameyang and goal scoring? If Lacazette can contribute a bit more, spread the goals out a bit more through the wide men, then it's calm. I'm looking at our midfield to score more goals, but looking at the profiles, Xhaka's not the box-to-box man. He'll score occasional long ranger here and there. That's not El Nene either. Ceballos is probably the one you're looking at the most to do that stuff, and he's not necessarily in that role. So I like Willan. I think he complements the side well. I think he gives you a lot of options. I want to see him in that 10 role. Equally, you could put Aubameyang and say, Aubameyang, F off the left-hand flank. You're going up front. Willan goes on the left. Willan goes on the right. Or Willian's on the bench. And I think it provides good problems, man. We've got good problems. I think we had good options last year out wide. And I think Willan adds to that. Like I said, he can be used in a 10. But you've got Aubameyang's technically a winger now. You've got Willan. You've got young Bukayo Saka, who's unfortunate not to get any game time right now. You've got Willan. Pepe, sorry, and you've obviously, Emil can technically be used there as well as the 10, and you've got Nelson. Now, there's a case for Nelson to actually go out on loan, even though I want him to stay and think he's going to have a positive season. But I like Willan. Willan's putting pressure on places. Arteta keeps speaking about it. On one hand, we do have an imbalanced side, not to Willan or anything, but we do have, we've got 8 centre-halves, for example. We've got a bunch of midfielders, but who is the madman? Do you get it? There's a lot of unwritten business, unfinished business, and a lot of unwritten stuff as to why we're moving forward. But at the same token, we need these problems. We need Arteta to come out and say, I don't know, Martinez is gone, but I don't know who's going to be my goalie. I don't know who's going to be my wingers. I don't know who's going to play centre half. For me, Gabriel and Saliba, when fit, play. Holding come and complicate things. Make it a headache. Make it so Arteta has to delay in that week as to who his matchday squad is, because there's only about probably how many names based off last week. Everyone deserves to start again, but collectively, there's only a couple of assurances to start week in, week out. If Aubameyang's fit, Aubameyang's gonna play. Tierney fit, Tierney gonna play. Leno gonna play. Do you get it? Centre half's a bit political now because he loves David Luiz. He helped Mustafi come back into this thing. We've got Gabriel and Saliba, so we'll have to see. I like these problems, man, and what I want to see is a bit more of that. Like I said, I like Willan, man. I really like Willan. When you look at the things he did, man, he attempted 26 passes, 19 of which were in the opponent's half. So you can't underestimate that. We need play. Even if Willan isn't world class and isn't amazing and returns mediocre numbers, we need people that want to break the lines, people that want to get onto the ball. And Willan wants to do that. He wants to get chalk on his boots occasionally out wide, and then he wants to drift in and get involved and do several little things. You obviously saw him hit the post from the free kick. I'm not looking at Willan to be our Mo Salah and things like that, but he is a better player than people give him credit for, and I do think he can help us. I think, you can't sign Willan in isolation and be inspired. That's what's underwhelming for me. If you sign the Partey's and the Aouars and to go with the centre halves and good options like Willan, you've done a good little business. But again, there's still a lot of question marks as to who we bring in and move out. You're hearing Torreira's looking to move, looking to be on the move, but like I said, 26 attempted passes, 19 of which took place in the opponent's half. A completion rate of 96.2% for a player, largely in the final third. Now, again, games will be different. And what I like about Willan as well is obviously we've won 3-0 and it's Fulham, so it's not going to be highlighted as much. But as much as he does the thing going forward, the man effing gets back. And you need that. You need that when you're going to play big games. You need that when we're doing 3 at the back against City and Liverpool, teams that will probably, dominate us if we try to play a different sort of way at this moment in time. So I think Willian's a good option. Obviously, time will tell if, he could have 2 good years, third year's decline. But, I'm not really fussed about that, man. The best thing Willan can do is just shut people up. Because people criticise the performances. I mean, the sign of Willan, it's not inspirational. It does what message does this tell? Does this tell to the board, except is the board telling to the fans and all of these sort of things? I understand it, but at the same time, all Willan can do is just play well. And like you saw, everybody singing his praises. Everyone's like, oh, we didn't know this player was at Chelsea. He's been freed. The shackles are off. And I believe, courtesy of Shakwa, apparently Willian's debut by numbers. He had a 96 pass accuracy as stated, 7 final third entries. He had 5 penalty area entries. He recovered the ball 5 times. He crossed the ball 4 times. He created 3 chances and got 2 assists. He won 2 fouls and he had 2 shots. And again, compliment the side. When Pepe comes, I want to see you get double figures near enough for goals and assists. Aubameyang, whether you're up front or whatever, do your thing. I need to see 15 league goals minimum from someone like Lacazette, because he's good enough to do that. And I'm looking at, notice how I keep focusing on these wide options. I believe our midfield needs to offer a lot more in many aspects defensively, regardless of the form they've been in. But defensively, are we going to be tenacious? Are we going to be an athletic midfield? Are we going to be a creative midfield? Have we got some goal scorers? There's some good players in our midfield. And in isolation, they're not bad. But when you put them all together, they might play well in a certain game, but, there's other games where when we need to break down teams or when we need to be mad solid defensively, can they do it? These are things that are going to be seen later. But I'm cool with Willan, people. And on the topic of El Nene, El Nene made more interceptions than any other player on the pitch during Arsenal's game against Fulham. And that's one thing I'll give El Nene. El Nene, he's a bit basic on the ball, but he's a better technical player. I don't think he has the confidence to always play that ball he did in the build-up to 1 goal for Aubameyang. He can do that. He's got one thing I like about him. He's got an engine. I think you can use that in the side. It's just when you're looking at El Nene to be the main guy, you've got an issue. But I don't think Arteta's doing that. So it's kind of sad, man. It's sad. It is sad how El Nene apparently, just based on I'll say it's sad because just based on the comments Arteta is saying, it's like El Nene really needs to believe in himself, and it's always sad to hear, man. It's like Arteta really had to do a number to restore his confidence, and you never see it with the way El Nene's playing or whatever, but it really seemed like he doubted his credentials and stuff. And I think El Nene's okay player for the squad, but if someone needs to be sold to raise funds, he's one of the names on the list. It's without a doubt. On the topic of Gabriel, I've spoken about him bare, but I've got some stats here courtesy of Shakwa again. He had the most touches and the most passes of an Arsenal player. You know, the way we play out from the back and what we signed him for. We signed him to defend as well as ball play. You want him up there. 113 passes and 121 touches. 95 pass accuracy. He recovered the ball 5 times. He made 3 clearances. He made 2 tackles. He won 2 fouls. He obviously scored. Apparently he wasn't dribbled past, and obviously we didn't concede. So it's a calm debut. Or it was a calm debut for such people, for the guy. It's a bit irrelevant from Fulham, and listen, people, please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Saka is a young man, you know. Not that we've got to keep people. I apologise for that little mishap with the video. The battery cut out. To be fair, you know, I'm getting better with charging and making sure there's storage available on memory cards. But I had no plans to do this video. It was off the cuff, and I actually can't see the battery level from where I'm sitting. So yeah, apologies for that. But I was speaking about Bukayo Saka. Now, for those of you that understand football and get it at its purest level, you're going to understand what I'm going to say. But I'm going to sound like a bit of a hypocrite, or if not a hypocrite, you're going to see 2 different things and think, what the hell is he talking about? First and foremost, like I was alluding to, you know, Saka is a humble guy. You know, I don't know his family, but you can tell when a man's grown up in a very humble background. And you know, again, I'm not Nigerian, but all the Nigerians in my circle and their family, not necessarily British-born Nigerians, actual Nigerians that live here and doing their thing in their family, they strike me as very humble. You know, they're very humble, and very humble people and good vibes. And Saka very is that. You can tell Saka loves doing what he's doing, as we all would be in 19 playing football for the team we love and all these things. So Saka's feet don't need to get on the ground, because I don't think he, you know, I don't think he moves cocky with it. I don't think he gets complacent with it. I still think he's got the hunger, and if he didn't, I think his family, not that I know them, would be onto him. So it's not a thing of keeping his feet firmly on the ground, but we need to remember that this is a 19-year-old who this time last year, excluding the Europa League, where was he? You know, his progress is amazing. Like, we need to remember he's still young. You know, he's got 40 odd appearances for Arsenal, but I want him to play a bit more. I think he was unfortunate to lose his spot, but he's a young man. I do think, you know, I understand what Arteta's doing. I'm not worried about Saka. I know Saka's time's coming. Saka is going to play a lot of football this season, you know, and it's just a case of being patient. We need to remember his age, and you need to remember Arteta. Arteta said, you know what, I love him more or less. You remember Arteta's comments? He's saying at times I would have loved to have not played him, you know, and he's looked a bit tired, but we've needed to out of necessity. So I think Arteta wants to protect against him. Obviously, when you're young, you know, you don't really need rest. You can play football. And I'm not saying Saka is like Cesc Fabregas, Rooney and these people there, but there is, and it's a bit different, but there is also a legit debate for playing too much football. I do think we go a bit too, especially fans, because we don't know the fitness levels. We harp on a bit about now he don't need rest, he needs rest and things like that. Saka, you know, he's a young man, you know, he's done very well to perform, you know, multiple times a week. But, you know, when you're 17, 18, now 19, playing week in, week out for us, yeah, you're going to get tired. There is the fitness problem. There is the burnout. There is the overloading. There is the potential injuries. Like I said with Cesc and Rooney, you know, Saka's got a long way to go before he's ever mentioned, you know, with a World Cup winner like Cesc Fabregas, Manchester United, England legend in Wayne Rooney. But the common thing is, and they both came through at 16, you know, they played a lot of football very early, and I don't know if this would make sense, but it's like they peaked very early, you know, like Cesc kind of peaked when I say very early, not obviously not in his 20s, but you know, compared to the football they played at 16 to by the time they were approaching their 30s, the fall off was quite rapid. Rooney the same. You know, is that a byproduct of playing too much football? I don't know. That is a thing. Saka has looked tired at times. Even before he lost his place in the team, he did look a bit tired. So I get it. You know, he's going to get a lot of football. He's had a meteoric rise. You know, he's gone from not being in the first team to now being number 7, new deal, one of the most consistent players. A player for me, like I said, I recognise his age and the need for rest and not too much expectations and rotations and stuff. But for me, you know, when you look at Saka, when you look at Martinelli, when you look at Foden, a bit older than them to a degree, when you look at Greenwood, you know, they're still young, they still need rest, they still need all these things, but it's irrelevant for them, you know, they're good enough players, they're first team members, you know, their age is irrelevant in a footballing sense. And I believe Saka is that. I don't care that Saka's 19. I comprehend it, but I don't care. I think he's a legit option. I'm not looking at his age. I think he's a legit option ahead of Pepe or ahead of Willan, or obviously the left hand side's Aubameyang's. But you get what I'm saying. I'm not saying Saka must play. I'm saying, you know, he's a genuine option to fight. And like I said, I'm not afraid. Saka will get first team football, but Saka's one of my favourite players in this team, and I want to see him, man. I don't care if it's left back. You know, he's unfortunate there with Maitland and Tierney doing their thing. He's played in centre mid. You know, we've got people doing our thing. Right wing, it's a bit political. I think he'll get his time. He's only 19, and like I said, because of the consistency levels he's shown, the sort of, I wouldn't say match winner, but match deciding moments, we forget that this is a young man and we need to take time and things like that. So I want to see him play, but I'm patient in that regards, man. I mean, he's only made 43 appearances, got 4 goals and a big contribution of 12 assists, especially in the assist record. He did look a bit tired when he lost his place in the team and towards the end of the season, and that was understandable. I think it was sad and a bit harsh, considering these things as well, that he never really, he played in the Community Shield, he come off the bench, but forgive me if I'm wrong, he didn't play against City in the final. Was it City in the final or City in the final? He didn't play against City in the semis, I could be wrong. And did he play against Chelsea in the final? Again, I could be wrong, but he didn't start them in it, which would have been nice. I still think he's got a lot to say. He's a versatile player, he's an adaptable player. What I like with the signing of Willan, with potentially Pepe being a bit more comfortable, with Aubameyang doing his thing, with hopefully Lacazette displaying form, hopefully we can get people in there, is that we take the pressure off Saka. Now, he's an Arsenal player, there's always going to be pressure, and he's a difference maker, he has decided it. But last season, at numerous points, we're looking at Saka to make the difference. An 18-year-old who just come in the first team, and he's been one of our most consistent players. To a degree, that is unhealthy. So with Willian, with, all the names I've said, I want to see them all step up to the fore a bit more. So Saka, not that Saka can relax, but there's less... Not that anyone was necessarily looking for Saka to be the match winner and was giving him scrutiny according so, but we was in it. We was looking, if Saka weren't going to make things happen down the left-hand side, it is what it is. I even remember against Aston Villa, when we was losing at home, he was badding it up. Now, he went on to win, but he was subbed. I was at the game, if I can remember correctly. I was at the game, and all our fans, and I heard the fans on TV apparently as well, you lot watching it, you're going mad. You're not understanding why Saka's come off. Saka's, it's irrelevant his age for me. He's still young, and for me, it's about the overload and potential injuries. And he has looked a bit burnt out. He's played. It takes a lot out of you being a young man, being exposed to high intensity football, multiple games a week. He's played fullback, he's played centre mid, he's played wing, and in an Arteta side that demands a lot of work. Fullbacks, you got to make an option. You've obviously got to defend. Midfield, anyways, you cover a lot of ground, and Arteta is not letting you get away if you're not defending that way. Even that's one thing I love about Willian. I can talk about, like I said in this, the free kicker, things like that, and I have mentioned this. It's going backwards. You even saw Pepe. Pepe, to a degree, I think he weren't playing because Arteta wanted to see a bit more defensively on top of other things. Now you see Pepe putting it in there. So it'd be interesting, but for me, we've got interesting problems. This is what we need, We've got Saka, who can be played across a couple of positions and shown he's got a part to play. Sadly, Martinelli's still in that protective boot, but when he's fresh home, that's a good option. Aubameyang, hopefully that new deal is announced. Hopefully for me, I want to see 15 goals from Lacazette. Willan and Pepe putting pressure. Hopefully Reece Nelson steps up to the fray and makes things even harder for Arteta. But again, people are going to have to be patient. Opportunities will come, but people are going to have to be patient, really and truly. So we'll have to see, man. But that's all I wanted to speak about over the course of this video. If I've disrupted your viewing quality, with the technical difficulties, I really apologise. But I've got nothing more to add, man. So I'd really appreciate it if you comment. Please make sure you vote for me for the awards, the Blacklist Awards. I really want to I actually want to win it, but you can't have everything in life, but I really think we could have a real good go of it. So if you've got 30 seconds, the link is in the description. I don't ask you guys for anything, so I would love for you to do it. But I understand if you want it, it's no hard feelings. But away from that, please comment, please like, please subscribe, please come back again. Check out the rest of my other content. DG.